to another episode of Café 21. I'm your host, Clara Marquardt, and in the hot seat today, we have a very special person that I'm extremely excited to talk to. Our guest today is known as the Marathon Man. He's a people's motivator, humanitarian philanthropist. He's a multi-marathon runner, fundraiser expert, and won the British Muslim Award in 2019 for his efforts to raise funds for refugees and peoples in need. So it's a great pleasure to introduce Haroon Mota. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
How are you?
Here today, thank you.
Yeah, I'm very excited, me too. Super. So the drill is 3 questions, 3 answers. Are you ready?
Ready, let's go.
Great. So first question, what do you do exactly?
So in my full-time job, I head the challenge events program at a humanitarian charity called Penny Appeal. Mm-hmm. So I've been here for nearly 6 years now, and my job involves managing a large portfolio of challenge events. So I'm responsible for income generation through marathon runs, mountain climbs, cycling, international expeditions, all the fun and crazy things that people do to raise money for good causes. And luckily for me, I also enjoy getting active, especially outdoors. So it means that I'm not just encouraging other people to fulfill their goals and do good for good causes, but also, tick things off my bucket list and travel the world, climb mountains and run multi-marathons, as you say. So I absolutely love my job. I think long before I started fundraising professionally for this organization, I was a long-standing volunteer for another humanitarian charity, Islamic Relief, and that's really where I built up my passion and my experience in fundraising. I never planned to do this professionally, but I think my journey and my experiences brought me here, and I'm so glad that I'm doing what I love now.
That's amazing. And what motivates you to keep doing these events and challenges?
So there's a number of things that motivate me. I think primarily, just generally, when you do good for other people, when you're fundraising and when you're engaging in charitable activities, it makes you feel better inside. And additionally, for myself as a British Muslim, in our faith, Islam, charity is a huge part of our faith. It's a huge pillar in our religion. So from a religious perspective, that's a very sort of intrinsic sort of motivation for me, knowing that not only am I helping people, but it's a form of worship. So when I'm helping people raise money to climb mountains, or if I'm running my own marathons and training, yes, I'm getting fit and healthy, and I'm keeping my mind well as well, but I'm fulfilling a massive obligation of my faith in supporting people who desperately need aid. And for me, I've had the blessings of being able to travel to different parts of the world across Asia, Africa, the Middle East, and visited first-hand projects where we're delivering aid to refugees on the border of Syria, for example, or in West Africa, where water poverty is so huge that people are traveling long distances in the heat, miles and miles on end, women, children, just to get access to water, which probably isn't clean enough to even wash with, let alone drink. So when I've visited these sort of projects and knowing true well how much the donations and the fundraising is impacting on people's lives, that really motivates me, and that really enables me to really sell these projects to other people and encourage other people to get involved. And I think for sort of the demographic of people that I tend to work with, particularly the Muslim community, ethnic minority communities, where participation in physical activity and sport is quite low, where the communities that are subjected to the greatest health inequalities, sometimes I'd say our people tend not to exercise for their own benefit. But when you kind of present them an opportunity to fundraise for charity, oh yeah, I'll climb a mountain because it's for charity, not because it'll make me healthy and it'll give me the opportunity to travel. They'll realize them sort of benefits later, but sometimes because charity is such a huge part of our faith, and in the Muslim culture, it has become a lifestyle. We don't go to clubs and we don't party, we don't drink alcohol, but hey, volunteer for a charity and do good. Yeah, that sounds like something that we can engage ourselves in, particularly for the youth. So that is quite kind of central to what I do, the demographic that I work with. And it's also one of the reasons why I have also now set up the Active Inclusion Network, which is a personal venture of mine, a community interest company designed primarily to champion diversity outdoors in fitness and outdoor activities. So we've got projects such as Muslim hikers, Muslim runners, Muslim cyclists that were initially set up in lockdown at a time when there was a lot of isolation and people lacking motivation to get themselves outside. And we've started to organize hikes and treks and other sort of campaigns, working with brands like New Balance and Sports Direct. And it's great just to try and improve representation, something that I feel extremely passionate about. When I started marathon running 10 years ago, I recall, joining my first race and just being shocked at how little diverse the sort of turnout was. I live in Coventry, and Coventry is a very, very diverse city. And when I turned up to run my first half marathon, just seeing that there were very few people that looked like me, it was shocking. And it also kind of triggered something inside where I wanted to be part of a solution to bring more people into running, into fitness and outdoors. And that's why I set up Active Inclusion Network. So it's in its infancy, and it's something I'm doing alongside my work with Penny Appeal. And of course, it benefits charity and fundraising when people kind of get involved in charitable activities as well. So lots of different reasons for motivation. That was your initial question. I think lastly, I think the biggest motivation is just keeping myself healthy and well, physically and mentally. I think the greatest appreciation that I have for what I do is just the mental space that it gives me, that ability to contemplate and reflect and do all of the processing in your mind, sometimes that you don't normally get to do when you're so busy in a 9-to-5 job. And I guess I try to lead by example in everything that I do, and many people find my work and activities inspirational. So I guess that just gives me more reason to carry on doing what I do.
It's amazing. Yeah, you're definitely inspiring. What are your plans for the future? That's my third question.
Well, I like to take every day as it comes. And I think lockdown and the pandemic, if anything, that's one thing that's kind of been a benefit to me. Over the past 18 months, I've never had or spent more time to myself and my family. So I'm really thriving on doing that. So yeah, I'm taking every day as it comes, enjoying the work I'm doing right now with Penny Appeal. We're kind of just emerging from the pandemic, and events have started to return, travel is back on. So trying to kind of regain ground that we've lost through the pandemic in terms of income generation for the charity. So that's kind of my immediate sort of goal. And with what I set up at Active Inclusion Network, I think there's a huge sort of need for the type of work that I'm delivering, particularly around the sort of community aspect that's associated with sport and physical activity. I mean, this weekend, for example, I'm taking 100 people out to the Peak District for a hike. We've called it High Chai. It's a trek followed by afternoon tea, and it's just a great excuse to bring people outside, build people's confidence and capacity in the outdoors in a setting where they feel happy, comfortable, and aware. And this in turn will impact people in the sense of their own confidence, and perhaps in their own time and in their own family circles, they'll be able to get outside on their own. So I'm really excited about the work I'm doing at Active Inclusion Network. I'm looking to connect with organizations, governing bodies, and brands that might be able to support our work. We are a non-profit, newly formed, and there's plenty of scope. So we're looking for people, like-minded people with similar values around diversity and inclusion, that might be willing to support us and help us achieve more and do better.
Brilliant. Sounds, I can't wait to see all the achievements that you're going to do next in your future. It'll be
Thank you
amazing.
so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for you for being here, sitting in the hot seat today, and we wish you all the best from STGC. And yeah, I hope to talk to you very soon.
Fantastic. Thank you for having me on.